So when I saw there was another Danish movie out starring Mads Mikkelsen, I got excited. Because the last one I saw that fits that description was the movie called The Hunt, and that was nothing short of excellent. Easily one of the best movies I've ever seen, it just hit it out of the park. And with this one I was secretly hoping it would be made by the same guy, Thomas Vinterberg. And to my surprise it was, which just made me even more excited. So of course I made it a priority to watch this as soon as possible, and I did. Well, how did it fare? Did it live up to my ridiculously high hopes? No, it did not, but it is definitely not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I liked it quite a bit, and it even has some moments of brilliance too. But overall I think the whole premise is kind of what holds it back from the very beginning. Because it feels a little bit silly, it doesn't feel quite like something that would actually happen. And considering the seriousness of the subject matter, it doesn't feel quite serious enough. And I really don't know how much of the premise I even wanna give away here, because what's going on isn't really revealed that early, but the whole movie still hinges on it. And it's almost impossible to talk about the movie without giving it away. But let's just say the movie follows a group of friends who also happen to be middle-aged high school teachers. And especially Mads Mikkelsen's character starts to feel a bit stagnated in his career and private life as well. And he has a bit of a wake-up call and decides to try to shake things up a little bit. So he and his buddies get together and try to reinvigorate their lives and to see if they can make daily life a little bit less mundane. But the way they go about it is pretty much a recipe for disaster, to be honest. And there's really only one way this story could go, and that I feel was pretty much clear from the get-go. And that was pretty much my biggest issue with the movie. Everything feels kinda predetermined and inevitable. But the movie tries to pretend that a group of grown men couldn't possibly see how this would end. And that bothered me, so it's kinda doomed from the very beginning to some extent. It wasn't ever going to reach the heights I was initially hoping it would. But at the same time, as flawed as I feel the basic premise is, the movie is still saved by pretty much everything else. Because it's still funny, it's heartbreaking, it's well shot and well paced, and the performances are very good. And I mean, Mads Mikkelsen is always a joy to watch, no matter what he's in. Because he never phones it in, and especially in this, he gives it his everything. There's no holding him back here, and I could watch him act all day long. Even just watching his tiny expressions and nuances on his face during a close-up is just so great. But the real surprise was probably the supporting cast, if you wanna call them that. Because the rest of the gang here was really good as well. I didn't feel like there were really any weak links at all. And so as an end result, this still ended up being very solid. But it's mostly carried by excellent performances that just sold me on the whole idea that this was actually happening. You know, regardless of how silly I thought the general premise actually was. And at the end of the day, I think I'll give this one a solid 7. Boop. But yeah, would I recommend this? To a general audience, maybe not. I feel like you need to be a little bit of a film nerd to perhaps fully enjoy this, but at the same time I do think this does touch on a lot of stuff most people can relate to. So you know, maybe give it a shot, or maybe don't, after all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic.